Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
And I'm Anthony Cordova.
And I am on a coffee high. You know why?
Because you had a lot of coffee.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah. But I'm just in generally a good mood. You know why?
No, Jill. I'm sure you'll tell me.
Yes. Because we have people calling in. Like we have callers. Yes. Or a caller.
Yes, we do have we need more callers. Yes, because I miss interacting with our listeners face to face. So for me, a call brings me a little closer to that, so I can hear their voices and comment.
And what number would we like them to call?
That number would be 404-594-2247.
Okay. Well, speaking of calls, we are basing this whole episode on one of our callers' calls. So let's take a listen to that call.
For a new topic, in a perfect world where perhaps couples were not as intricately synced than you guys, I actually think there's an opportunity to explore a behavior that states when couples get married, when they are more mature, not like you guys have been married for like 15 years, but when people get married when they're more mature and well established and comfortable, what about exploring the opportunity of co-location living, which of course would be my ideal solution. Maybe not bi-coastal, but possibly living in the same town, same state, but living separately and coming together to make a beautiful union when said parties believe that they're in a space to be coupled together. Because who's to say that a non-traditional marriage, such as living in two different locations, could or could not work?
Okay, so that call was from what listeners know, or who listeners know as Superhero.
Yeah.
So thank you, Superhero, for that.
Yes.
Tony, you and I actually know someone who does this. We met someone who talked about this. Do you remember who that is?
We met someone that talked about this, or we know someone that talks about this?
Well, that's the only time we have ever talked to this person. But they described it when we talked to them, and it worked for them. Do you remember who that is?
I don't think we're thinking of the same person. The person I'm thinking of recently got married.
No, that's not who. Well, who are you thinking of?
Well, I don't want to give out names because she might not want to be named.
Oh, I totally forgot. Yes.
So we know two people.
We actually know the person you're talking about. We've known her for years. The other person we only talked to once, but he described this to us. And actually, for a little while, there was a show reflecting it.
I have
Do you remember?
No idea what you're talking about.
Sinbad. Yes. When I interviewed Sinbad years ago.
Sinbad, the comedian.
The comedian.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes. For the youngsters out there, maybe they don't remember him. But Sinbad is a legendary comedian because he made a name for himself by doing clean
stand-up.
Yes, clean stand-up. Yes, no profanity.
No profanity, yeah.
Yes. But when we talked to Sinbad, he described to us how he lived in one house. His wife lived down the street.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No.
I wish we could call Sinbad and ask him if that's still the case, but it worked for him.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Maybe it was his ex-wife.
Maybe.
I have to look that up. But either way, he was telling us how a wife, whether current or former, lived in the same neighborhood. He had bought the house and they basically lived next door to each other.
Yeah, it may have been his ex-wife.
You think so?
Yeah.
I want to say it was his current wife because he was saying how she needed her space. So he gave it to her.
Okay.
So should we build a house in the backyard?
Are you trying to tell me something to move you down the street?
No, I don't want to move down the street. I really would still like my writing studio. If you're going to build a house for me, it should be a writing studio in the backyard. But I wouldn't sleep there or live there.
So let's get to this topic.
So let's get to the segment we call
Stand by your stance. I would never want for you to live in one house and I live in the other. And we're
Really? Oh, you have a really short-term memory.
Why?
Once upon a time, Jill Cox Cordova, had an opportunity to work and live in Florida, and you were just going to ship me away. And you said you would visit every now and then on the weekends.
But it was short term. It wasn't going to be permanently.
It could have been.
No, if the job you had
it was going to be at least a year or two.
Yeah, but if it turned out to be, it paid enough where I could come every weekend and we could stay together a weekend. And then if the job turned out to be like something that you wanted to continue for the next, 10 years, then I would move there permanently.
So for a year or two, you were willing to just see me on the weekends.
That's all you see me now.
I see you sometimes during the week, especially this past week. I saw you a lot.
Yes, but we're apart quite often now.
But it's not on purpose. Like every day you do try to get home. Sometimes your job doesn't allow for that.
But I am away from you for several days.
But it's not like if I had taken that job, you would not have seen me except for the weekend. Period. There was no chance to see me during the week. Whereas now there is.
Yeah, there would be if you made enough money. I wouldn't have to work as hard, so I could come more often.
Is that what this is about? Jill, make more money.
That was more about opportunity. It wasn't a lifestyle that we were going to choose, like the topic is today. A couple that chooses
that would have been a choice
in a long term.
You were going to ship me away. My feelings were hurt. My feelings were hurt.
Listen to me now.
I was so hurt.
Please listen to me.
Okay.
That is not something that I would want for us.
But you did.
No, it was temporary. No, that's temporary. Couples sometimes in a relationship.
Temporary to me is a week or two, not years.
No, it was going to be for actually two semesters.
That's an academic year.
That's 9 months.
10
months. That's not a year. But I was going to see you constantly. But what we're talking about here is a couple that has decided that that's going to be their lifestyle from then on. Period.
Well, the person we actually know who has that situation, that's not what she would like to do. She would like to change that as soon as possible. But for the time being, they don't have that opportunity to change that.
Well,
but she's doing all she can to change that.
Okay.
So it's not.
So they're not
to her. I don't think it's permanent.
So
either.
You're saying they're not a good example. So, what do you have anyone in mind that's a good example?
Sinbad.
I think it was his ex-wife that he moved down the street. So she could be close to the kids and all of that. So, which I can see if you have a good relationship with your ex. That is the mother or father of your children, I can see that working because it's much easier to co-parent if you're living close together.
Sure.
So,
unless you just don't like the sight of that.
But
ex.
I would really, really, really like to discuss what that actually would look like, because I have a hard time comprehending a relationship. So I know about long distance relationships, which in my opinion usually don't work.
But for some people they do.
But for some people, yeah. But then do they truly have the committed? Well, yeah, I can see they can have a truly committed relationship to each other. But for me, I want to be in close proximity to the one I love, my life partner. I want to be close to them. Now I'm also a loner, as we all know. I do like people. I'm not an
No, you don't.
introvert. I do. I
You
don't
don't
tell
like
people I
people.
don't like
You don't
people.
like people.
I love people.
You don't like
Yes,
people.
I do. I like people. I love people. So
Well, maybe it's me.
you're
Maybe I don't like people.
you're more of, no, you like people too, but you're more of the introvert than I am. I'm not really an introvert. I'm a loner, which is a little different. So, but being a loner, I am used to not being around a person that maybe I was, this is before our marriage, dating. Okay. No problem for me. Could have a relationship like that for a year or two. No problem. Okay. Didn't
Okay.
bother me. So that's the only concept I have of being with someone, at a long distance, like that. But I can't comprehend being with someone that I married and not being close to them. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that happens.
But that's just you. I mean, maybe we should talk about what would make someone do what superhero proposed. So perhaps it could be their job. Like maybe they're never, like when we were dating, you only did come home on the weekends. I only saw you on the weekends when we dated. But when you proposed, you made a promise that you would do your best to be home every night.
Yeah.
And until recently, that was always the case.
Yes.
So maybe it's someone's job that keeps them away anyway.
Yeah, but the difference was I came home to you.
No,
Kinda,
you came
even
home
though
to
we
your
had
house.
to my house, but we weren't.
My
we
house
weren't,
was 5 minutes away,
but
but you came home to your house.
But we weren't married. We're talking about two people that are in a committed relationship and or marriage, and they choose not to live in the same house, under the same roof. So I don't understand. Like I said, I can't comprehend.
But if that, let's take that same scenario for someone other than this. So let's say when they were dating, they only saw each other on the weekends. Okay?
Yeah.
And that worked for them just as it worked for us. So they thought when they got married, why change that? So maybe one person kept their house, maybe they both kept their houses and saw each other on the weekend, came together on the weekend, decide whose house they're going to be at on the weekend, because maybe they had such secure positions and they had a goal, let's say a professional goal that kept them in that job, and it was just easier for them to keep things the same until they reach that goal.
Well, I just thought about something.
Okay.
From the caller, and I believe she said for people that are more mature.
Yes.
So if I could see like a couple that is maybe in their 60s and above.
You don't have to be 60 to be mature.
Just listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
Because I'm trying to understand all of this. So
Okay.
listen to me.
Okay.
So let's take a couple that's in their 60s or above. Okay. And each one of them individually have been living by themselves under their own roof for 20 years. Right?
Right.
So they have gotten used to being on their own, in their own house, doing what they want to do. But they meet somebody and and both of them are like that. I'll say, so both people are used to being on their own, living by themselves. And maybe they just don't want to change their ways to accommodate someone else. It's much more comfortable for both of them if they if they don't live under the same roof. Now,
Okay.
I can understand that because once people get older and they've been by themselves for quite a while, it's really difficult for them to change their ways. They get too settled in their ways.
Yes, they do
So
get settled in their own ways.
if it's a case like that, I do understand.
Well, but I think maturity in a relationship also means that you're mature enough not to cheat on the person when you're away from them. You're mature enough to be dedicated to them, to, check in with them every day. I may not see you every day, but you and I definitely talk to each other every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I see maturity in a relationship being dedicated and not cheating, not lying, not any of those kinds of things. Just because you don't see each other, or, that you don't give in to temptation. Because a lot of times outsiders will say, oh, but their wife is hundreds of miles away.
Uh-huh.
So let me move in on them.
Okay.
Like they go after you. And some men can resist temptation. Some women can resist temptation, and some can't.
Yeah, what I do recall, and this you'll understand who I'm talking about. Someone that we know of, but we have not met, and this person did do exactly that. He was married and his wife lived in one house and he lived in the other on one property.
Yes.
And they made that work for many years.
Yes. So it can be done.
It was good for them.
Yes.
So
it can be done.
It's I guess it's totally rest on the individuals and what they want.
Absolutely. But I agree with the caller with Superhero that takes maturity to make that work.
Yeah, or two people that are of the same mind. This is what they want in life. So it's easy for them to do that. So I don't think they necessarily have to be any older or younger or but it's two
maturity
people that have
to me is not age.
Well, that can be true.
Trust me, there are a lot of people older than me that are not mature.
Yes, that is true.
We all know people like that.
That is correct. So I don't know.
So if I said to you, instead of building me a writing studio,
build you another house,
build me a house in the backyard,
I'd be no, and no.
Why?
No.
Why? I'm mature.
No, that's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for you either.
You can come visit. You could spend the night even if you want to.
No. Not for me. Nope. Look, I don't even like that we have to have separate bathrooms in our own house.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That again?
So now you wanna expand on that and go into two separate homes? No.
But there are some people that do sleep in, like,
in
even
Dr. Ruth.
Even Dr. Ruth says couples do not have to sleep together. Yeah. Especially if one snores. She says you could sleep, you could have sex in any place, and then go back to your own bed.
I understand that, and I could get with that more so than I can get with living in separate homes.
So I can have my own bedroom now?
My parents actually slept in separate bedrooms for many, many, many years.
Was that because of a snoring situation, or they just didn't want to?
It was because my father snored.
Okay. Well, I snore. You want to put me in a different bedroom?
I've gotten used to it.
I've gotten used to yours too.
I told you would.
Yeah, you would. You would.
Yeah. So I do understand sleeping in separate bedrooms if necessary.
So why not a whole house or a whole living space?
That is like true separation. Like, I couldn't do it. The only way I could do that with you is if I didn't like you. That's the only way I could do it.
Why would you still be married to me if you didn't like me?
Financial reasons. Just financial reasons.
What?
Yeah.
You did not marry me for my money.
I didn't marry.
Any.
No, you asked me, what is there a reason? Is there any way I would do that? And to live in separate houses, and that would be financial reasons. That's the only.
I don't understand.
Or
that.
If I didn't like you, if I didn't like you, and for financial reasons, yeah, you live your own.
It was cheaper home. To keep me. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, you live in your home, I'll live in mine, and all will be good. But that's because we didn't like each other that much.
Then why stay married? That makes no sense.
But that's why it confuses me. I have a hard time understanding choosing not to live under the same roof when you're totally committed to your partner.
Well, when you're totally committed to someone, there are things that each individual does differently. So say one is really messy, one's not. Say one has certain things.
I understand.
So maybe you truly love the person, you just can't live with them.
But
you want them in your life, but
yes.
you just can't live with them. Yeah. So why can't you have separate?
You can, and I guess it goes a little further to whether they are married or not. If they're not married, I can see doing that.
Well, what if one of us got this opportunity? This fabulous, back to how we started this conversation. That was just Florida, and you were going to ship me away. But what?
You keep
but
saying
what if
ship you away? I wasn't going to ship you away.
Yeah, go, Jill, go. And I was like, but don't you want to see me more often? Because at that time we were seeing each other every day.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, what if the opportunity had been in another country, but it was like a really amazing opportunity, but only at that time, only one of us could go.
Then it would be a no, because if you were going to leave this country, I would want to go with you.
So you could come whenever you could, just like you were going to in Florida.
It all sounds good.
Join me later.
It all sounds good when you say it. Oh, we can catch a flight. We can do this. We can do that. But you know what? Catching flights get old. You get tired of going back and forth on a plane.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I did get tired of business
so
trips.
It's like an absentee relationship. Just like I say you cannot be an absentee owner of a business. It doesn't work, especially if, you're a sole proprietor or something like that. You can't be absentee.
Yeah.
And
even if you're not a sole proprietor, you need to understand what's going on in your own business.
Exactly. And if you're not there, it works for big business.
Right.
You can do that. But for a small business, no, you can't. You can't be an absentee owner. You have to be there. So,
but some people would feel that they can't even do what we do. Like, I don't see you every day. Some couples wouldn't survive that.
Yeah. That's true. That's
so
true.
You can make it work when you want to.
But then some couples, and I know this to be true also from experience, if they see each other every day,
that's a problem
too.
Yeah,
yes, that does not work. Does not work. So, yeah. So now that we're talking this out, maybe. Well, I go back to, if you're with someone you don't like, you might love them, but you don't like them. maybe you could live in separate homes.
Well, let's get to our second segment that we call
Give It a Rest and a Resolution.
Okay, so we've gone over many different sides of this. So do you have a resolution or a conclusion?
Well, I think I spoke to it already. It takes special individuals to be able to do something like that. And I'm not that type of individual. So just because it's not good for me doesn't mean it's not good for someone else.
True.
So that's all I have on
But
that.
some people might say that you and I have an unconventional relationship too, because we don't see each other every day.
I disagree.
Because that's life for you.
I disagree.
Because that's life for you.
Whatever.
Well,
Well,
my conclusion is
know.
If that works for you, great. But you, as Tony said earlier, your partner has to be like-minded for that to work. You both have to be on the same page for that to work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Do you have any advice?
Please go first. I'm still a kind of confused about this whole topic.
Okay.
It confuses me.
Well, my advice is don't feel that you have to do what everybody else does. If being in separate states, cities, coast work for you, then don't let anybody tell you that not to even try it. If that works for you, try it. So you don't have to be like everybody else.
That is very good advice, Jill.
Thanks.
And I think I'm going to agree with you on that.
I'm right.
Yeah, I believe you are right on this. At the beginning of the episode, I really wasn't sure. But as we talk this over, I think, if it works for two people, great. And don't think of them in any kind of way because they're not living the conventional type life that everybody thinks you should live. So if it works for you, wonderful.
Yes.
And I hope it works for them.
Yes. And I think another point to bring up is that, sometimes your relationship starts off one way, but because of life changes, things may change in your relationship too, just like it did with us. Like you said you would be home every night and you were for many, many years. And then our life situation changed.
We have to do what we have to do.
And so now we don't, but we both stepped it up.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to each other even more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we both really try to make that work.
Yes.
So be prepared that just because...
Mind you, I don't want this to be permanent.
Oh, neither do I. Neither do I, but I'm willing to make it work while it does.
All right. Okay.
You all right over there?
I'm fine.
It's too bad we don't have video on us so that the listeners can see you doing that.
That's the other thing. So this episode is almost over, but we also would like our audience to chime in on what they would like to see us do, or whether they want there's different episodes they want us to do, or if they'd like to see us on video. We'd also like to know what you think about a Zoom with us. So we could all just talk and meet up and get to know each other better.
So that is part of our last segment that we call. So what do you think? What do you think? Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
So again, listeners, our number to call and tell us all of those things are 404-594-2247. We love hearing from you, regardless of what you have to say. But Jill, I especially like it when you call in and say that Jill is 1,000% right.
Okay.
So thanks again, everybody, for listening. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art. And thank you, listeners. And thank you, Superhero, for giving us a topic.
Yes, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.